I think a lot. I think about my life, about how much of a headache I must be to my grandmother. I think about my IT diploma, of a decade past graduation, still gathering dust in the archives of my alma mater. Think about my aunt's concern for my relationship status, disguised in subliminal banter, loaded with expectation. I think about my country's relationship with our people, and whether one more child is a priority matter. I think about my country as I think of black people and our seemingly infinite affinity to suffering. Think about billions of people living at the mercy of billionaires, about billionaires giving talks on work ethic, about how outrageous it sounds to have billionaires in the same sentence with ethics. Think about the sounds of crying babies and distraught mothers, about fathers unable to provide for or to protect their babies and their babies' mothers. Think about the shame, the self-blame, the cognitive dissonance. Think about people's worth reduced to the ability to afford. About capitalism perpetually sowing seeds of discord. Think about the controllers of capital playing God. Think about the subjects casting blames on the devil. I think a lot about religion and the devil within. Think about the 10 Commandments, about the golden rules as I think of pacifism. What really qualifies as the greatest sin? I think, and think, and think, and think some more. I think about youth as I think of rubber stamps and developmental buzzwords, about monthly reports, quarterly reports, annual reports, about project reports. I think that maybe we should pause the reports and talk about the packed jobless corners against loaded bank accounts in tax havens. Think about hope, about dreams, about heaven, and the hell of unresolved past bedeviling the future. Think a lot about history, about now and then, about the shifting face of events inclined to the hand holding the pen. Think about tyranny, dressed as democracy, about the bloody mask on his face while he violates justice. I think about justice, delayed, distorted, denied. Think about Langata blues, about shoes hanging on power lines, about bodies wrapped in flags and the senseless deaths we endure while power lies. Think about June 25th, about Eric Shenny, about Bridget Njoki and Michelle and mothers and headaches, and the countless diplomas that will never materialize. Think about news, about ratings and headlines, about views and editorial guidelines as I think of puppetry, about the wicked hidden hands pulling the strings. I think about kings, about royalty, about Marie Antoinette as I think of starvation. Why would hunger really care whether the fat lady sings? I think about music, about film and pop culture as I think of escape routes and amusement parks. I think a lot about spectacles, about smiling gatekeepers and the illusion of choice. Can't help but think about geopolitical woes, about fiscal debts and national budgets as I think of my supposed future children and my aunt's failed marriage. I think about agency, about action as I think about guns, about armored cars and water cannons. I often think about fear and the cost of silence, about courage and the power of a voice. Think about patriotism, about true unassuming love for country, as I try not to think about my grandma's racing pulse. Think about social contracts, about integrity, about the promises we make, the promises we break, and the ashes of trust we leave in our wake. Think about truth, entangled in lies, hiding in plain sight. Think about humanity, its brilliance and brutality, its tenderness and terror, its endless contradictions. I think about the questions we cannot answer and the ones we're too afraid to ask. And in thinking, I wonder whether thought itself is both a blessing and a curse. But then again, I think the thinking is tough. That maybe we don't think enough. Maybe we need less hands stretched out and more minds. I think we certainly need less feet in pursuit and more thinking. I think.